Today you will get to know those who claim that it is possible to live a new life after death and those who say, "I am born again." Those who believe that the soul exists again in a new body call this reincarnation or transmigration of souls. Today, more than 1 billion people on Earth believe that their souls will exist in other bodies. In other words, they believe that at the moment of death, only the bodily functions end and the soul comes back to the world in another body, that is, in the body of a small child, and continues to live. Reincarnation is not only believed in Eastern cultures, but also in the West. According to historical sources, reincarnation was first mentioned in Western history by some ancient Greek scholars and philosophers such as Pythagoras and Plato. Reincarnation was accepted in many civilizations such as ancient Egypt, Celtic, Mayan and Inca, where millions of people continued to believe that the soul lives in a new body after death. In other words, according to this belief, our soul in our body was in another body before us. What do you think of this idea? For the sake of clarity, let us back this up with a shocking fact. Dilo Bayaz was born in 1970 in Samandog, Hati. Dilo Bayaz was born with a scar on her head. Her mother realized that little Dilo had memories of her past life when she talked to herself in bed. At first, her mother could not believe what was happening. Dilo began to tell her that in her previous life she had been a woman in a nearby village who had died after falling into a well while hanging out laundry. One day her mother felt the need to explain Dilo's story to her relatives. One day, a distant relative of the Bayaz family confirmed Dilo's story. The death of a woman named Zahidi Koz in that village was very similar to Dilo's story. Zahidi Koz had fallen and hit her head on the ground and died in hospital. Dilo, who also described Zahidi's cemetery even though she had never seen it, was one of the first reincarnation cases to remember what happened after she died in a previous life. The most prominent believers in reincarnation in human history have been shamans, Hindus, Nasaris, Yazidis, African tribes and Indians. The belief in reincarnation is slightly different among the peoples of North Asia. Here they believe that man has more than one soul, 3 or 7. The Yakut Turks, the Chukchi and the Yukajirs believe that man has 3 souls. Yes, you heard that right. There are many people in these regions who believe that man has 3 lives. According to the Yakut Turks, one soul of a deceased person remains in the grave, one descends to the realm of spirits and the third ascends to heaven. The soul of the deceased meets the crossing guard, who waits for the entrance to the other world, and then crosses by boat to the opposite shore. In the realm of shadows, the dead live the same life as on earth. After some time, the dead can be reborn on earth. The Uyghurs call this phenomenon of continuous rebirth sansar. Reincarnation also has an interesting place in Jewish belief. While the doctrine of the transmigration of souls is not found in traditional Judaism with its apocalyptic beliefs, there are some elements of the concept of transmigration of souls in popular Jewish beliefs. Many Jews today believe that Adam was Noah, then Abraham, then Moses. This is a belief in reincarnation. There is no place for reincarnation in the Islamic faith. As in other monotheistic religions that accept the concept of resurrection, Islam generally does not have a concept of the transmigration of souls. According to the basic principles of Spiritism, the human being consists of 3 parts: the soul, the perisprit and the physical body. The perisprit is the link between the soul and the physical body and has a semi-material structure. In this belief, When the soul leaves the body at death, it is reborn in the spirit world. The good and bad deeds it has done while in this world are recorded in its memory. After a while it is reborn in the world. The purpose of being reborn again and again in the world, where he will be tested, is to evolve. But even today there is a widespread belief. Some people believe that in reincarnation a soul that leaves a human body can continue to exist in an animal body, but the human soul is never reborn in an animal body. This is because there is no regression in reincarnation. We introduce you to a scientist who has devoted 40 years of his life to reincarnation research. Professor Stevenson spent 40 years of his life studying children who seemed to remember their past lives. He was treated as a madman, but he persevered. He conducted reincarnation research on nearly 1,000 children. In each case, Stevenson methodically documented the children's accounts and found that the events described by the children matched the facts of the deceased. He also verified with medical records, such as autopsy photographs, that the scars that caused death and injury in the deceased were birthmarks and birth defects in the children who spoke in the reincarnation research. In the investigation, a boy in Beirut described how he was a 25-year-old car mechanic who was killed when he was hit by a car that had exceeded the speed limit on a beach road. According to witnesses, the boy even gave the name of the driver, the exact location of the accident and the names of the mechanic's sisters, parents, cousins and friends with whom he had gone hunting. The incident was confirmed by the judicial authorities. Unbelievable, but true. The child was born a few years after the death of the mechanic in question, and the child's family had no visible contact with the dead man. Stevenson also conducted research on Turkish children who remembered their past lives. One of these children was a Turkish man, Adnan Kelasi. Adnan Kelasi, who lived in Adana, claimed that in a previous life he had been a private in the Korean War, a Turkish soldier who had died in battle. Everyone who heard this claim began to doubt Adnan Kelasi's sanity. Despite all the accusations, Kelasi was able to describe the death of the Korean War soldier in great detail. However, the identity of the soldier was never fully established. Was Adnan Kelasi really carrying the soul of the soldier who fought in the Korean War? One of the most common cases in Antakya was that of Semel Farisai. Born in Antakya in 1935, Farisai saw his father, a distant relative, Semel Hayek, reborn as his own son the night before he was born. Unbelievable, but true. Jamil Kayık was a local hero who committed suicide by putting his gun to his chin after his gang was surrounded by French troops. Baby Jamil also had a 2-centimeter scar under his chin, and when he was 2 years old he began to tell people details of Jamil Kayık's life. Those who heard his stories treated him as a madman. In later years, Stevenson's research revealed that Semel also had a scar on the top of his head. The scars and various phobias and pains were seen as signs of reincarnation. The number of people who did not believe in Semel Farisai began to decrease. According to some experts, a person suffering from neck pain could have been hanged in a previous life, or a person who was afraid of heights could have been murdered by being thrown from a castle wall. In other words, it is suggested that these unexplained fears and phobias could have come from previous lives. It's scary, but according to many scientists, it's a fact.
Today we will get to know astral travelers. This mysterious subject is one that mankind has been after but has not yet solved the mystery. Have you ever been able to go anywhere in your dreams? Has something you dreamt of before you fell asleep come into your dream as if it actually happened while you were asleep? According to most people, this happens through astral travel. According to many experts, it is possible to manage dreams and astral travel to go to the places and meet the people you want. The term astral traveling means traveling to other places while a person is conscious. It sounds crazy, but history has witnessed thousands of people who have experienced this interesting phenomenon. Traveling outside one's physical body and consciously traveling to other places and the experiences one has with this body can lead to serious experiences. For this reason, let us warn you from the beginning. Please do not try these things without consulting experts. The astral travel technique was invented by a man named Jack Miller. He said that he had a dream and his spirit wandered all over the house. He then developed this technique. Jack Miller, who claimed that he could communicate even with the dead, lost his sanity. In parapsychology, this is defined as out-of-body experience, and it is claimed that physical objects such as walls and distance are not an obstacle. Under normal conditions, you may not be able to pass through a wall, but during astral travel, the assumptions indicate that you can easily pass through the wall. So, whether astral travel is done with the body or the soul is a matter of debate. According to a report in a local newspaper in France 15 years ago, a 45-year-old man named Henry claimed that he could travel across continents with astral travel, crossing continents faster than an airplane. Under normal conditions, it is not possible for a human being to fly with his naked body, that is, to travel like a bird without wearing a wing or flying with a vehicle similar to a paramotor. Especially, it is not possible to fly faster than a passenger plane. However, the French citizen's claim was not taken seriously at the time and the local newspaper received many calls asking if he was crazy. Please remember the most realistic dream you have ever had. Could you have astral travel too? Neurologist Dr. Mehmet Yavuz made a statement that will make the discussion even more interesting. Dr. Yavuz said that dreams are narrative symbols of the events we are affected by during the day, and confirmed that it is possible to manage dreams with this explanation. Almost every person dreams during sleep. If you see someone's eyelids fluttering while they are asleep, you can think that they are dreaming. Although the dream may last no more than a minute, the person can describe what they see for hours. They can even dream within a dream and remember everything clearly. Therefore, time is zero in a dream and the concept of time does not recognize duration. Sometimes it is also possible to manage dreams. For example, you wake up from a dream but you want to continue. Meanwhile, when you go back to sleep, it may be possible to continue the same dream. If you feel that your soul leaves your body for a short time and moves to a different dimension, you are actually astral traveling. There is an important note by experts on this subject. Astral travel, which is a spiritual travel, is not a physical and physical travel. In short, astral travel, which is defined as the wandering of the being by leaving the body, is believed to travel between countries and even between planets. In other words, this journey is made with the soul, not the body. However, most people believe or think that their body also travels during astral travel. In England, a 22-year-old young man lying on the operating table was put to sleep with anesthesia before the operation started. As the operation was about to begin, the young man saw himself getting up from the operating table and traveling to the village where he was born. His dream was so real that he described what he had experienced in his village, even describing a few details that had changed in the village square: houses painted, roads dug. What he described actually matched exactly what happened in the village. But that young man did not actually go to the village, because after the surgery he underwent, he was kept under control in the hospital for days and then went home to rest for a while. According to experts, that young man made a spiritual journey to his beloved village through astral travel. There is no scientific basis for this claim, and no evidence has been presented to prove the reality of this claim, which is very easy to prove. Well, there is an issue that closely concerns everyone on the subject. Is astral traveling dangerous? Is it possible that the soul cannot return after leaving the body during astral travel? Can a person lose their soul? There are various claims about astral travel, which is a spiritual subject. Experts especially draw attention to the danger of this subject. There are also scientific articles about traveling outside the body. According to some experts, there are 7 steps for the soul to travel outside the body. Step 1. Relax both physically and mentally. Step 2. Enter a hypnagogic state or half-sleep. Step 3. Deepen the state by prioritizing mental sensation over physical sensation. Step 4. Pay attention to the presence of a distinct vibration in your environment, in a situation that arises with rigor. Step 5. Apply the vibration in your physical body and relax into its presence. The purpose of this is to gently shake the slender body out of the physical body. Step 6. Focus on your thoughts about leaving the limbs and torso and try to do it one at a time. Step 7. Focus on sliding effortlessly out of your physical body, known as lifting. We said at the beginning of this episode that this is a very dangerous subject. Let us remind you once again. Please do not try astral travel without consulting experts. According to the data from people who have experienced it, instead of astral traveling at night, it is recommended to start in the early morning, just before you go to sleep, when you still feel sleepy. Some people with experience say that it is easier to reach the necessary state of relaxation and heightened awareness around dawn. Still, it is possible to astral travel at any time, so there are no hard and fast rules. This rule is very important for astral travel. This journey requires a deep state of relaxation, so it should be done in a part of your home where you are completely comfortable. Lie on your bed or couch and relax your mind and body. It is easier to astral travel alone than with someone else in the room. If you usually sleep with a partner, choose a room other than the bedroom to practice astral projection. A good time to do this is when no one enters, and you need to make sure that no one will enter the room when you are in astral flight. Close your eyes and get rid of disturbing thoughts before the astral journey. Concentrate completely on your body. The aim here is to achieve a state of complete mind and body relaxation. Stretch and then relax your muscles. Start with your toes and work your way up your body and slowly work your way to your head. Make sure that every muscle is completely relaxed when you pass. Inhale deeply and exhale completely. Don't feel tension in your chest and shoulders, just relax. Always consult an expert before doing these things. Focus your mind on breathing before the astral journey. Do not compromise with thoughts of outside worries and do not yet engage with the idea of your soul reflecting through your body. Dive into yourself to calm down. Keeping your eyes closed, let your mind wander to a part of your body, such as a hand, a foot, or a single toe. Focus on the body part until you can visualize it perfectly, even with your eyes closed. Keep focusing until all other thoughts disappear. Use your mind to stretch your body part, but don't physically move it. Don't see your fingers curling or squeezing your fingers until it looks like they are physically moving. Expand your focus to the rest of your body. Move your legs, arms and head using only your mind. Keep your focus steady until you can move your whole body only in your mind. Enter a state of vibration. Many people report vibrations of emotions that come in waves of different frequencies as the soul prepares to leave the body. Do not be afraid of the vibrations, as the presence of fear can cause you to leave your meditative state. Instead, your soul succumbs to the vibrations as it prepares to leave your body. Use your mind to move your soul out of your body. Move your body and your mind to stand up. Look around you. Get up from your bed and walk around the room, then turn around and look at your body on your bed. If you feel as if you are looking at your body from every corner of the room and you feel that your conscious self is now separate from your body, your out-of-body experience is successful. For some people it takes a lot of practice to get to this point, but for others it comes as naturally as breathing. Either way, if desired and practiced enough, it is possible for everyone. If you have trouble completely lifting your spirit from your body, try lifting just one hand or leg at first. Keep practicing until you can move around the room. Return to your body. Your spirit always remains connected to the body by an invisible force, sometimes called the silver cord. Allow the force to bring your spirit back into your body. Enter your body again. Move your fingers and toes, physically, not just in your mind, and let yourself come into full consciousness. After this list of recommendations, based on data from dozens of people who have astral traveled, it is stated that astral travel is possible. Maybe you have listened carefully to this explanation. This situation has already entered your mind. Maybe you will be able to travel the world by astral travel when you sleep tonight.
What can we do with the power of thought? Can we rid ourselves of diseases and change our fate with the power of thought? Can we move things by the power of thought without touching them? Striking explanations by scientists on the power of thought, and very special techniques to improve your thinking power. You will watch this episode with interest. Humans have become the most dominant species on Earth, with large and complex brains that have led to the development of sophisticated tools, culture, and language. Humans are extremely social creatures, and they tend to live in societal constructions of a large number of groups, which are examples of family and relative relationships, and competing and cooperating, all the way to governments. The human brain is an organ that serves as the center of our nervous system. All vertebrate animals, and most invertebrate animals, have a brain except for some sponges, jumpsuits, and invertebrates like the leather thorns. The brain at close proximity to organs that serve senses such as hearing, taste, vision, balance, smell is the most complex organ in the vertebrate's body. Some animals have developed over thousands of years, adapting to their environment even without brains. The animal without both a brain and a heart is the jellyfish. Jellyfish lack both a brain and a heart. Today, however, they can live comfortably despite these two shortcomings. Thinking is unique to many creatures. Those who are mentally unstable are called crazy. Thinking is a difficult thing. It takes both strength and ability to think and act. So, what do you think human beings, who have very powerful abilities, can do with the power of thought? What's the power of thought? What's the use? How can a person use brain and thinking power? Thoughts are words in your brain that push you to do something. Indeed, this question has puzzled scientists for decades, and the final answer is still being studied. In these studies, it has been found that people can control some things with the power of thought. Most of us are very thoughtful these days. A lot of thoughts actually come into your head during the day. Ideas, things you want to do, people you want to be with, something you want to say to someone, something you need to buy. We always think about these things. Some of our thoughts are positive and show you what you need to do to be who you want to be. These help speed up events. But negative thoughts will instill in you a kind of fear so that you don't do what you need to do. These slows things down. This shows that thought has power. As David Allen said, it's one thing to have only thoughts, to consciously feed them is something else entirely. If you have a good idea and you don't pay enough attention to it, it will water up in your mind and disappear. You should take a note of these thoughts. Take notes so you don't forget. Thought is a flower that has not yet grown. But if you do something, and you even write it down to a place where you can review it and rethink it later, your neurological system starts to respond to that idea, and come up with new ideas and thoughts. When you nurture your thoughts with attention and care, your thoughts settle into your subconscious mind and from there influence your actions. It will use any trick that makes you do it. It's not enough to embrace good ideas and throw away bad ones. You should pay attention to your thoughts and intend to act on them. You have the power to create something from your thoughts, to change your life and to influence the lives of others. How will we use our power of thought? How did a paralyzed woman use it? And that woman is cured? Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to continually create new neural pathways. When we replicate a skill that we're trying to master, we reinforce the neural networks that represent that action. The same happens physically in the brain, whether we perform the action or simply visualize it. Your brain cannot tell the difference between an action you perform and an action you visualize. Research from the Department of Psychological Sciences at Purdue University has found that social or emotional pain is as real and intense as physical pain. The same brain networks are activated as when a person experiences a physical injury, experiences a painful emotional experience. Your brain cannot distinguish physical and emotional pain. There are numerous studies proving that your brain cannot distinguish the difference between a real and an imagined threat. The physical response is the same. You can change everything with the power of thought. Whenever we have an experience, the corresponding neurons are activated. Each time they are activated, they are slightly raised in order of importance. Repeating or prolonging an experience will keep the connections between neurons strong and make them last. Everything you experience will change the physical structure of your brain in some way. The things you do, the people you spend time with, every emotion, thought and automatic experience affects the wiring of your brain to make you who you are and influence who you can become. Many people are told to focus on the positive in life, to block negative thoughts, experiences, and situations that we see in ourselves. This suggestion may help in the moment, but there is a lot of evidence that in the long run, ignoring these negative emotions does not make us happier. Susan David is a professor in the Department of Psychology at Harvard. Ms. David published a book called Being Emotionally Strong, Not Being Stuck, Embracing Change, and Succeeding in Business. The main focus of this book is to help people understand and deeply investigate their situation by removing them from the way they think positive. The only way to increase our awareness and be a better person is to develop ourselves, to determine our purpose and our choices in life, said Ms. David. David offers a series of steps for people who begin to feel uncomfortable, and says that through this it is possible to develop and to experience. According to Susan David, trying to focus only on the positive in our lives can cause problems as it removes the need to go outside ourselves as we try to find our way in the world through experience. Our contract with life is a contract linked to vulnerability, sadness, and anxiety. If we are to be truthful and meaningful in this world, we can't live our lives by focusing on one dimension, and we can't expect this one-dimensional understanding of it to give us a multifaceted life. For this reason, you can develop our power of thought in the following way. Sometimes it can be very difficult to touch our emotions. But it's not impossible when we're willing to try and be better. In order to create change, you first need awareness. This is a term we see in many self-help books today. What this means is that we need investment to make the most of our lives and embrace our differences. We have to give ourselves permission to recognize our feelings. We need to put all of our skills and resources on the table to show ourselves, to understand our most basic feelings. This is a very important first step. When we look at ourselves with all our good and bad points, even the worst monsters retreat with awareness and acceptance. We have to be observers of ourselves. People don't experience a lot of the things they encounter, they don't evaluate the situation they're in, or they just watch from a distance. In the second step, David encourages them to step outside their comfort zone. This can be uncomfortable, but it can help you see how you behave when you encounter negativity, and you can start to develop skills to recognize it when it arises. First, you have to change your beliefs and habits about what psychologists say about what goes on in your mind. When you deepen yourself, when you learn how to make small changes in different areas of your life, you can achieve lasting change without changing the course of your life. Everything to be able to go further, but we can't learn how to transform things without taking the time to question the negatives in our lives. David says that to make a change in our lives we need to do something challenging. The most effective way to transform your life is not to quit your job and go to the Far East, but to do what you can with what you have, where you are. It's kind of like boring self-help advice in the hands of a newspaper over the weekend, but it works. As a result of their work for more than 15 years, scientists have managed to move prosthetic limbs and robots with the power of thought. The first example in this regard was the paralyzed Kathy Hutchinson. In the US, 2 people who have been paralyzed for many years have moved their robotic arms with the power of thought. The website of the journal Nature has published a report showing how 2 people who lost the use of their legs and arms due to a stroke they suffered years ago were able to control their independent robotic arms with the help of a tiny sensor implanted in their brains. The report, based on work by scientists from Brown University and Harvard Medical School, said the baby aspirin-sized sensor focused on the electrical activity of several dozen brain cells as participants imagined moving their arms. The sensor was later reported to have transmitted the signals to a computer that sent them to robotic arms in the form of commands. During the experiment, the participants, one of whom was a woman and the other a man, tried to direct the robot arms to reach the balls in front of them and squeeze them. Male participants succeeded in less than 50% of their ventures, while female participants succeeded in more than 60%. Kathy Hutchinson, a female participant, was additionally asked to drink coffee using her arm. This was noted as 3 separate actions, in which she had to lift the bottle, take it to her lips to be able to drink with a straw, and put the bottle back on the table, and in 4 out of 6 attempts she was successful. Dr. Lee Hochberg, one of the researchers, said that for the female participant, the smile on her face was amazing. Experts say the experimental, brain-controlled studies will help people with paralysis in their daily lives when technology develops and costs fall. Experts continue to find evidence that our positive and negative thoughts not only have psychological effects, but also physical effects on our bodies. The advantages of positive thinking include less stress, better physical and emotional health, longer lifespan, and better coping skills. The human brain thinks in words. People experience their emotions through their thoughts. They also exhibit behavior according to their emotional state. Sometimes this chain can develop as emotion, thought, behavior, or behavior, emotion, thought. Thoughts make humans' destiny. What we call a self-fulfilling prophecy is sometimes created by the environment and sometimes by the person himself. Usually one does it by oneself. Ultimately, it is up to the individual to believe what the environment tells them and perceive it as their destiny. What needs to be done is to strengthen the weak link in the chain. And that's by changing the way you think about it, which is the source of the problem. Replacing the negative sentence with positive sentences with positive words is enough to break the paradox. One technique to help you think more positively is to become aware of your negative self-talk and replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Sometimes we imagine the worst of ourselves or situations, and often we become oblivious of the negative thoughts. The power of positive thinking is your character and lifestyle. How you evaluate the events you are experiencing and how you will react to the events that will come in front of you is a reflection of your positive thinking power. You have to really believe in what you want to do. The doubts that go through your mind, the hesitations, are the barrier to positive thinking. If you want to gain a positive mindset, it is not difficult. You can develop it with a little exercise. Try to replace negative self-talk with positive words. For example, replace the statement, "I hate getting up in the morning," with, "I am grateful for a new day." Avoid negative words like "I can't," "worried," "scared," "sad," "tired," "bored." It is important to actively think about how you feel and your life. Try to catch yourself thinking negatively, and say, "Stop," to orient yourself to positive thoughts. In the face of a smiling, lively face, no one can stand unhappy and sullen. Our subconscious usually mirrors and influences the other person. You smile so that the other person smiles too. The basic human desire is to feel loved, and sometimes that love comes from within. And in order to love ourselves fully, we must incorporate healthy habits into our lives, for a well-fed body, mind and soul. Several ways to feed your body are to exercise, eat healthy food and connect with others. A few ways to feed your mind are doing mind puzzles, meditating, breathing deeply and laughing. Together with these activities, you can develop positive thinking and a positive outlook by nourishing both the body and the mind. It is scientifically impossible to move an object with the power of thought. But if your thinking changes, your life changes. Favors take action. And the movement of a good life is worth more than the movement of a chair. Please start today.